22. She say you won't even try to stay. So I'm gonna leave you alone. Now you're all alone. I'm going down, catch 22.
Recording, we recorded over at SUNY Purchase. They have a lot of studios there. I would sign us up 2 to 3 times a week if possible. And their music production program is fantastic. Their studios there are great. We did most of the recording in Studio A, which has this really nice API analog recording console. So a lot of what we did was analog, which I like because it adds a little bit of warmth to the mix.
Pretty much every song except for Heart Grenade and Around the Sun, those were all brought in by Billy. Billy pretty much had all the songs written, whether it was just a riff or a set of lyrics. Billy had a vision for every single song coming into the record.
Me and Billy have been good friends since like junior year of high school. He invited me into his band, Innocent Sins, that's what the name used to be. And that kind of evolved into this. We've been playing with each other since, I'd say it was closer to like senior year of high school. It was like the end of junior year into senior year. At that time, the band was more like hard rock, borderline metal. It was a lot heavier than what Bates is. Bates kind of tries to go a little more like classic rock-esque, hard rock-esque.
That was near perfect, but there was that one thing. Yeah. Let's do one more. Alright, let's get this. He's gonna get the take. He's gonna get the good one. We would do the drums, and we tried to get drums down in like 2 to 3 days. So we would spend the day on drums.
Well, day one of Tyler was fantastic because he was the drumming. He had the drumming down. It was almost like he wrote the song specifically for his drumming. I don't think there was anything Tyler had to go back and do except for one song. And other than that, I think his whole performance was fantastic.
I don't even remember the moments where Tyler missed a beat on any of the songs. He's just that good.
Going into the first session with Billy, I recorded 6 songs that night, and most of them I haven't even heard until that night. It was kind of just like they were thrown at me right there, and I kind of just played to the scratch track, really. I kind of like the second one. Okay. You're the artist.
Drums sound like great for the most part. Yeah.
They really do sound good.
The way we started recording the record is we started with drums, so I think that pretty much set the tone for what was to come. Just the sounds that we got out of that room were incredible, nice and ambient. It definitely told us that this record was going to be big.
John Bonham, Taylor Hawkins. That's the drummers I really study from that style.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we can work without that over there. Well, now the thing is we're right heavy. We're very
Yeah, I know,
heavy on
but
the right. Well,
maybe we can blend it so it's both. wants to what?
Add some stuff as well.
Our heads weren't really aligned to the same thing, you know? Like, Pat's a metal guitarist, Craig's really into 90s music, and our bassist Mark, he's really into, like, punk.
A to C to D. Yeah. Yeah, I mean slower. It's but yeah, that's the chord progression.
Well, that was the whole point of having that whole
Yeah.
It created this interesting mix, because you could hear that in everybody's tone and in everybody's writing, you know? Pat's guitar tone is a lot more gainier than mine and Craig's is. Craig's is a lot more twangy and grungy and interesting than ours is, because he uses all these effects that you would hear in like Audio Slave.
Guitar was great. I think the first day we just did Take It All and Catch 22. And we just, that was some of the first times I was making that up. I was playing stuff to that. We did more recording with Mark. We did some other songs.
We have 3 guitar players in the band, and I am primarily the rhythm player. I do have my fair share of leads. I have a couple solos.
One of my favorite lead parts is just Pat's solo on Realign.
I love Pat's solo in Realign. That alone just like amazed me, you know?
That solo, I think, ties everything together, because it's like a nice, it's a nice upbeat song, then it slows down.
Some things were made to never change. I take myself up to the top just to be dropped down at the start when I find my...
And then it builds back up into this wailing solo that Pat does with the wah pedal, the distortion.
But I'm really centered around the riff. That's what I like in a song. Personally, most solos bore me to death. I think they're really good when they're short and sweet, especially like the ones that we play on the record. They're all relatively short.
And at the ending, dude, feel free to rip it with the leads.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Baffle, 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 baffle.
Just do just solo out, or?
Yeah, you can solo out.
Craig's lead is amazing. A lot of people disagree with me on this, but I like Billy's solo in Catch 22.
no idea what any of the lyrics to any of these songs are.
Neither do I.
I actually
only the one I wrote, and Catch 22.
I hate glasses.
Alright, how do you feel about that?
I am the guitarist, the singer, and the producer of the band. During the time I was really into the Black Keys, I was really into this band called Kaleo. I was going for that, but I think everybody was thinking something else. And I guess the outcome I would describe it as is like this weird Foo Fighters, Black Keys kind of blend, but something else added to it.
It's actually not the first time I've worked with Billy. We were in a band before this called Wolf Gone Astray, and it's interesting because that was a much heavier band. That was along the lines of metal and hard rock, and there's actually moments on that record where Billy screams.
The melody, he has a lot of great melodies.
They were the ones that lasted all. They were the ones that never fall. With arrows hands, we go running to the other flood.
I'm going. Kind of like staircase it up.
I'm not sure if I could do that. I can't believe. Okay. Yeah, I can do
Think
that.
Chris Cornell. That's for you, Craig.
I'm going. I can't believe I won't let this down. I'm going. Don't take me home.
I did have my friend Alejandro come in every once in a while to help us out. Most notably, he helped us out in October. There's this one part where you could hear this kind of interesting vocal thing. I can't really describe it too well. But he came up with that. He heard the song. He's like, hold up, we could add this in there. And he did that. And I think it filled up the song a lot. And then he added these other like tribal chants. With that, he kind of helped create this new space in the song October that I didn't think could have been done without him.
Well, I mean, I was also antagonizing him back here while you were doing that,
Yeah, I
but
didn't hear it because of
generally
that.
speaking, I didn't notice anything bad.
We have 3 guitars, a bass, drums, and vocals, and a lot of times we would have backup vocals. So by the time we were done kind of recording everything, I only had 2 weeks to mix 12 songs and get everything done. So that was a pain.
He pretty much delivered. He did everything. The poor never got any sleep.
How do you feel, Billy?
It's 7 a.m.
There were a lot of times where I would spend sleepless nights working on mixing.
It was cool. It was my first real experience behind all of that. I've always been like in the studio, but I've never been behind the scenes, like in the control room with, you know, all Pro Tools and everything. And I think I got to understand Pro Tools a little bit more.
Here, he's blended through the direct signal.
I was in the studio 24/7. I hated the studio at the end of it. Like, I want to leave. You know, I skipped meals for this. But every time I would finish a song and I would listen back to it, I would listen to how everything came together. And I would think, this is a good song. I did my job. I like this. And that's always my favorite. Mixing's a pain in the ass.
So on the flip side of recording and being in the studio all the time, it came to a point where we had to figure out what the album cover was going to be. We had a photo shoot in Rockland County, and our photographer Greg was taking some really interesting shots of us in front of the main building. And as we were digging through his work, we noticed a picture of Craig standing in front of the building as if he's about to walk in, and we thought that was just really cool and interesting. And right off the bat, I think we figured out that that was going to be the album cover.
That's when we went on our Letchworth photo shoot, even though Mark wasn't there. He was with us in spirit. We invited him, but he didn't want to come. That's not true. He was busy.
I can't say enough about this record. It's something I'm very proud of.
Listening back, I think my favorites either actually Heart Grenade, Catch-22, or October.
Just Realign is just a phenomenal song in general.
The biggest thing was that each week we saw an evolution with all the songs, you know? Especially Baby Doll. That song was just a scratch track in the very beginning. And everyone was even saying, oh, I don't like this song. This song's so boring. And now it's like everybody's favorite.
Baby doll, you cannot fool me. Reach out and rub into me. Baby doll, you cannot.
If you can do what we did, there is no way you cannot have chemistry. If everything works in the way that we did it, that requires chemistry. If we couldn't pull off recording that and making the album in 3 months, then we didn't have chemistry. The fact that we were able to do everything in such a short amount of time and improv everything shows how well we work together as a group.
Can I help you? Multiple UAVs.
Right now, we're focusing on promoting. We're focusing on playing more shows, grow our fan base. How long that'll take, I don't know. But that's the goal. I wouldn't be able to tell you the future, but I know you're going to hear a lot about us in the future.
Let's take over the world. Let's take it all.
I want to make a song that people can sing along to and people could dance to. And that's why I love the rest of the guys in this band, because they're all about having a good time.
I can see a future in this. You know, it's definitely the most productive band that I've ever been in.
All right, get ready!
And I found the wind and its currents with arms spread fire, floating feathers were stirring, seducing eyes. Nothing else was occurring. As days go by, I will fly.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.